There's a dangerous trend that's been circulating among kids and teens for decades, sometimes called the choking game. Despite the innocent-sounding name, it's not a game at all. It's a risky behavior built around intentionally restricting oxygen to the brain in an attempt to feel lightheaded or euphoric. The idea behind it is simple. Rapid breathing, followed by sudden oxygen deprivation, can cause dizziness, confusion, or even brief loss of consciousness. Some people report strange sensations or visual distortions, but these effects come from hypoxia, a lack of oxygen, and hypocapnia, a drop in carbon dioxide levels. In other words, the brain is being pushed into an emergency state. When oxygen returns, the brain can produce a short burst of relief or clarity. But that rush is just the body recovering from stress, not something harmless or mystical. This behavior is extremely dangerous. Even a small miscalculation can lead to loss of consciousness, falls and injuries, damage to the brain, heart, liver, or kidneys, and in the worst cases, fatal outcomes. Many incidents happen when someone attempts this alone, without realizing how quickly things can go wrong. While some breathing techniques in therapy involve controlled hyperventilation, those are done under professional supervision and never involve restricting airflow. That's what makes this trend fundamentally unsafe. So if you ever hear someone talk about this game, remember, the risks are real, the consequences can be severe, and there are far safer ways to chase excitement or relieve stress. And that's baby science for you. Every summer you see the same scene. A moth slamming itself into a lamp or porch light over and over until it gives up or burns out. The heat doesn't stop it. The impact doesn't stop it. It's like the light hypnotizes them. Sad for the moth, but scientifically way more interesting. Humans have known for centuries that insects are drawn to light. Even ancient writers described moths dying in flames. This attraction has a name, phototaxis, movement toward or away from light. But why does it happen? There's no single answer, but scientists have a few fascinating theories. Theory 1. The moon navigation hypothesis. One idea is that moths evolved to navigate by the moon. Before artificial lights existed, the moon was the brightest object in the night sky. By keeping its light at a constant angle, insects could fly in a straight line. But when a moth mistakes a lamp for the moon, everything breaks. A lamp is close, so instead of a straight path, the moth ends up spiraling inward. This explains the circling behavior, sometimes. But here's the flaw. Moths don't always fly in neat circles. Often they just smash directly into the bulb like tiny confused meteors. Theory 2. Light equals open space. Soviet entomologist Georgy Mazakhin-Porshnikov suggested something different. To a moth, light means open sky. You've probably seen butterflies slam into windows trying to reach sunlight. Same idea here. When a lamp turns on, everything around it becomes dark by comparison. The moth interprets that darkness as a closed space, and the bright spot as the only exit. So it flies toward the escape and hits the glass. Theory 3. The Mach band illusion. This one is the strangest, and maybe the smartest. According to this hypothesis, moths aren't trying to reach the light at all. They're trying to fly away from it. At the boundary between light and shadow, the shadow appears darker than it really is because of a visual illusion called the Mach band effect. Humans experience it too. To a moth, that darker than dark edge looks like the safest direction. But as it tries to reach that darkest zone, it ends up crossing back into the bright area and gets pulled toward the lamp again. So moths aren't clueless. Their visual system is just being tricked. In reality, they probably have several overlapping instincts that all misfire around artificial lights. And that's why they keep crashing into lamps, porch lights, and street lights every summer night. And that's baby science for you. Zebras are awesome. That part's obvious. But why do they have stripes? Is there an actual purpose behind them? Or did evolution just decide to have some fun with design? And the classic question, are zebras black with white stripes or white with black stripes? Let's break it down. Scientists have been trying to solve the zebra stripe mystery for more than a century. The earliest idea was that stripes create an optical illusion, making the zebra harder to see in bright light, a kind of natural camouflage glitch. Researchers at the University of Calgary decided to test this. They ran digital images of zebras through filters that simulate how lions and hyenas see the world. Turns out predators can spot zebras just fine, about as well as they spot antelopes. And since these predators rely mostly on smell, not sight, camouflage wasn't the winning explanation. Another theory suggested that stripes help zebras recognize each other, but plenty of animals with solid colored coats recognize their relatives perfectly well, so that idea didn't hold up either. The real answer seems to be a 2-for-1 evolutionary deal. 1. Natural air conditioning. Black and white stripes absorb and release heat differently. This creates tiny convection currents, micro airflows, across the zebra's body. Basically, a built-in cooling system. A recent study comparing zebra habitats in 16 regions found a clear pattern. The hotter the climate, the more pronounced the stripes. 2. Insect defense. Stripes also help zebras avoid biting flies, a huge problem for any large grazing animal. These insects carry diseases that can be deadly. Here's how it works. Dark surfaces reflect horizontally polarized light, which biting flies love. White surfaces reflect unpolarized light, which flies find less appealing. A zebra is both dark and light, and that contrast seems to confuse insects. To test this, researchers in Hungary and Sweden painted boards in different patterns and coated them with glue. The striped boards caught significantly fewer flies than the solid-colored ones. The same effect showed up when scientists tested 3D horse models with different coat patterns. We still don't know exactly why stripes disrupt insect vision, but the effect is real, and it gives zebras a major survival advantage. So what color is a zebra really? It might look like they're white with black stripes, especially when you look at the belly. But embryonic studies show that zebras start out black, and the white stripes develop later. In fact, many animals were originally darker in evolutionary history and lightened over time. Zebras just took that trend in a stylish new direction. And that's baby science for you. Who can show up at your house during the winter holidays? And no, we're not talking about your loud friends or tipsy neighbors. Around the world, kids wait for a jolly old man with a bag of gifts, Santa Claus, or his eastern cousins like Ded Moroz and Snegurochka. But these aren't the only visitors tied to New Year's and Christmas traditions. Folklore is packed with mysterious creatures that used to roam from home to home during the darkest days of winter. So, who are these winter guests? Anthropologists say New Year celebrations are among the oldest holidays on Earth. The earliest versions appeared in ancient farming cultures. In Mesopotamia, in the city of Babylon, people celebrated the spring equinox as the start of a new life cycle. Later, it merged with the festival of Akitu, dedicated to the god Marduk. Christmas also has deep pre-Christian roots. When Christianity spread across Europe, church leaders placed Christmas near the dates of the old pagan festival Yule, celebrated around the winter solstice. The goal was simple: replace beloved pagan traditions with Christian ones, without erasing the holiday spirit entirely. But ancient winter celebrations were never complete without supernatural beings. Some were friendly, many not so much. And even after Christianity took over, these creatures didn't disappear. They were reinterpreted, reshaped, and often demonized. turning once neutral spirits into full-blown monsters. Iceland, the 13 Yule Lads. If you live in Iceland, you don't get just one Santa. You get 13 mischievous troll brothers known as the Yule Lads. Today, Icelandic kids leave shoes by the door and hope for small gifts. But centuries ago, these characters were far less wholesome. According to 16th century folklore, the Yule Lads descended from the mountains 13 days before Christmas, stealing food, causing chaos, and scaring villagers. And then there was their mother, Grilla, a towering troll woman who punished misbehaving children by carrying them off to her mountain home. Not exactly the cozy holiday vibe. She was often accompanied by the Yule Cat, a massive creature said to roam the streets looking for people who hadn't earned new warm clothes for winter, a symbolic reminder to work hard throughout the year. The stories became so frightening that in 1747, Icelandic authorities actually banned using Grilla and her sons to scare children. Germany, Frau Perchta. In German folklore, winter visitors included Frau Perchta, a stern figure who appeared during the 12 days of Christmas. She rewarded those who lived honestly and punished those who didn't. Her legend was meant to enforce good behavior, but over time, the stories became darker and more intimidating. Denmark, the Nisse. In Denmark, families feared upsetting the Nisse, a household gnome who protected farms. He expected a bowl of porridge with butter on Christmas Eve. Forget to leave it out, and the Nisse might cause trouble, from broken tools to mysteriously sick livestock. A tiny creature with a big temper. Slavic lands. Karachan. Among Slavic peoples, winter brought the spirit Karachan, a ruler of frost and darkness. He was said to appear on the longest night of the year, accompanied by wolves, wandering bears, and the souls of those lost to the cold. Meeting him was considered extremely unlucky. For centuries, winter holidays weren't just about joy and celebration. They were also about fear, mystery, and surviving the darkest nights of the year. You never knew who, or what, might show up at your door. Luckily, most of these creatures have softened over time. Today, winter holidays are far more cheerful and far less terrifying. And that's baby science for you.